Hey guys, it's time to celebrate 100 episodes of Reel to Reel Talk. Woo! Film is a medium that transports. All I have to do is pop myself in front of the TV to watch a movie, and I can just enjoy whatever place the film takes me to.
Movies have always been an escape. It gives you a whole new world to be in.
I have a rekindled love affair with movies.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Reel to Reel Talk. I am Sergio Brera, and joining me, as always, are the other Reel to Reel Talkers, Susan Chisholm and Paul Britton. Guys, we're about to do number 100.
Yeah. I barely feel a day over 80.
And look at 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, here we are. And if I had thought that we would get to 100 episodes, I don't know. It's always this thing where the projects I begin, it's like, all right, how do I keep the passion going so that I keep wanting to do shows? And you guys have certainly helped me do that. And as we get to 100 episodes of Reel to Reel Talk, of the projects I've done the first time we've gotten to 100, it's a big deal, and it means a lot to me that you guys are with me and that we have created this thing that we do in which we talk about movies. And there's a unique story to how you guys got on board, and we've talked about it before on the show in different capacities, but I think it ironic, Paul, that where we began is almost full circle to where we're about to be in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, man. Matrix. Can we please just have the Matrix? I almost felt bad doing a few of those episodes, solo in November, because we totally could have landed right on the Matrix episode as 100, and that would have just been like very Matrixy. Yeah, I guess you could say, but it's all right.
Oh, absolutely. And Susan, I mean, you and I, you were on one of the early episodes as well. And Fifth Element, which we actually revisited together, all of us, is what sort of brought you into the fold. I can't believe it's been that long.
So that was episode number 8, by the way. But I started before that because I did the voiceover intro.
This is true. This is true. She was the original voice of Reel to Reel Talk, because I had done I was the original voice.
You were the original.
But one day, Susan was like, "You can't be the intro to your own show," and I'm like, "I can do whatever I want."
The exact phrase I used was, "You can't introduce yourself," because that's just wrong.
Me, and so.
So I was like, "Let me just take the exact words you used and just re-record them," and you were like, okay, I guess
it was weird letting that part of it go, but no, and that's the thing. As time went on, and Paul, you jumped on first, and we just sort of hit that rhythm of like, hey, this is working, because originally the concept was, every week let's just have somebody different on and let's talk about whatever they want to talk about. And the cool part about tonight is not just that we're doing our 100th episode, but that we are going to actually get some visits as part of this episode from some of the folks who were on the early episodes of Reel to Reel Talk. And so I'm excited about that. But tonight, rather than, we're in the middle of a season of all these new releases and, things coming up and things that have happened. And we just decided, let's just talk movies. We're going to leave it to fate.
Yeah.
And we're going to let,
and stuff we like too. We have 10 lists of 10. So we came up with 10 categories.
Right.
And we came up with 10 things within each category. And we're just going to spin a wheel, and the category comes up, and we're going to say, this is my favorite thing from that category, and then just move on.
Exactly. And we're going to be here till tomorrow morning. I'm kidding.
No, we're not doing every category.
Good night, everybody.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, and so we have the Wheel of Fate ready to go. And as we begin this process, I just want us to remember that we have a friend named Blair who's watching and is already commenting, and we appreciate Blair stopping by week to week. And I love the use of huzzah. He gets extra points for the use of huzzah. So
2 chicken legs for you.
So
Turkey legs. What am I saying?
Turkey legs, yeah.
we're going to bring up the Wheel of Fate. And I found a free one, so just deal with it, folks. All right, there's ads. In fact, if you're in Texas Central Market, go. And so the not the Wheel of Fish, the Wheel of Fate, absolutely. And we are going to spin, and we're going to have some conversation around whatever the topic is. And so let's see how the first couple go.
Yeah.
And let's just start. So here we go. Episode 100, Real Talk, Wheel of Fate.
Spin it.
Spin the wheel.
Make it happen. You have
Click to spin. There we go.
Click to spin. Do we click to stop it, or does it just spin on its own?
Just let it happen, sir. There it is. DC
nice.
Comics. All right,
Okay.
DC Comics. So movies related to DC Comics is our first topic.
That's easy.
Boy, I really wish Nick were on at this point, but these are his favorites. So Paul, DC Comics, get us started. What comes to mind?
Okay, so this was from our franchise list. So this is the
Yes.
first from our franchise, and it's an easy one for me. It's Dark Knight. I mean, the Dark Knight with Oscar-winning Heath Ledger. It's so good. It is such a complex, layered. It's a wonderful film. Period. Like you can't just say, "Oh, it's a good comic book." It's an amazing film, and just fun, fantastic, scary, everything.
Yeah,
A++.
Indeed. For myself, I'm not going to necessarily go favorite on every single topic.
Okay,
but the one that comes to mind is the 4.5-hour epic that was the recent re-release.
Okay,
of Justice League, and because I mean DC Comics will always fall short, but in terms of movies and stuff, but. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And so that comes to mind right away. So, Susan, what about you?
So, we're just going memorable here.
Sure.
One of the single worst movies I've ever seen in my life was Suicide Squad 2.
There you go. Yeah. And there you go.
I'm sorry. That I can still see scenes from it in my head. And I'm like, why? Go away. Do we have a brain sponge?
Is that the one with the starfishes and stuff? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
I imagine
that people like that. I don't understand.
I don't
did not
get
like
it.
that.
There were people that really liked it a lot, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
That's
gently
fun.
Say hard pass on that.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Spin it again. Let's keep on going.
Well, Blair has a couple of thoughts. He says Susan wins, and his opinion is Superman 2 or there you go.
So. Absolutely A++ also on Superman 2.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
that's
Blair.
classic.
Really quick, Blair. Central Market is owned by HEB, so
okay.
Go to HEB
Indeed.
or Central Market.
Indeed. Well, before we get to the second spin of the wheel, we are going to introduce one of our very first special guests tonight.
Sweet.
Our friend Jen. Let me go ahead and have her join us. And Jen, welcome back, I should say, to Real Talk. So.
Oh no, we can't hear you, Jen.
We can't hear her. It'll all be okay.
Make people big.
So while we, in fact, let me do this for just a moment.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get back to the wheel in just a bit.
By the way, shout out to Blair for mentioning the Wheel of Fish from UHF, one of the best just offbeat random comedies from ever, and Weird Al Yankovic. God,
the reason I have not seen that movie, to be totally honest. So.
You're gonna make me cry on 100 episodes.
You were gonna cry anyway.
No.
So let's see. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I
can control it.
Just mute
So,
it.
Jen, it shows that you're on mute. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but it does show us that you're on mute.
And it's not letting me unmute her mic.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, it says you.
Yeah.
Oh, she has muted herself.
difficulties.
It says
Gotcha.
I cannot unmute her because she has muted herself.
All right.
There's a little bar on the bottom. Jen, do you see a bar on the bottom of the screen?
She can see the chat. She said it was working now, but I can't hear anyone.
Oh. No, we cannot hear you.
So what we can do is we will have Jen. We're gonna try it again, Jen. So if you don't mind, just ping me on chat. And
Jen,
Wait,
I got it.
Yay!
Yeah,
there it is. Yay!
I was using a microphone and then it was freaking out on me, so I just unplugged it. So we're good now. Sorry, guys.
Awesome. Well, welcome. So welcome
Hi.
back to Real Talk, Jen.
A+ podcasting so far.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm not tech savvy at all. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna try and use this cool thing. Like, look, here's my brother's microphone I was gonna try and use, but
Okay. I understand. Well, what matters most is you're here now, and we want to thank you for joining us. And for those who don't know, back when this show began, first episode ever, Jen was one of the guests on that particular episode, and we talked about the character arcs in Marvel movies. And I still think of that as one of my favorite conversations I've ever done on the show, not just because it was first, because it was fun. So thank you for being back with us tonight.
it's my pleasure. Yeah, that was definitely, I loved that. That was so fun to, kind of dive a little deeper into what I'm sure a lot of people just think of as a fun kind of go-to, movie series. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
Absolutely. Well, so what we're doing tonight, Jen, is we are spinning the wheel of fate here. We're just sort of coming up with random topics that that are loaded into the hopper. And all we need you to do as we go through a few together is just any movie that comes to mind related to the topic, talk about it. That's
Okay.
pretty much it. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel once again. Let me bring it back up and we will get to our next topic.
Let's see if I
DC
can win the
Comics
second
was the
time.
first one. The second one is neo-Western. I was so hoping this one would come up. So
Would or would
Westerns
not?
post 1970. I wanted this one to come up so bad.
Good.
So who wants to get us started on this one?
Not me.
Not
I'm
you.
not sure you want to talk about these.
Does it have
Westerns. I love Westerns. But mine were all of the pre-1970 Westerns, like
Mhm.
John Wayne, Clint Eastwood kind of era. You know what? I can go first because I watched the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Okay.
I thought that was
Okay.
an interesting show.
Recent, yeah.
It was one of my Susan Finally Saws, if I remember correctly, and it was like I had never seen this before, and it was kind of, Western-ish, we'll say.
Yeah.
Interesting concept with the four different, the different, stories within a story.
Yeah.
Not my favorite movie in the world. We'll just leave that there.
But it comes to mind.
It
So,
does. It comes to mind. That's my contribution.
Excellent. Jen, what about you? Anything coming to mind for neo-Westerns?
I'll be real honest. I don't watch a lot of Westerns. I love Clint Eastwood, but I don't really watch his Westerns. I like some of the stuff he's done as a really, really old man.
That's funny you say that. We just had a conversation about that.
Gran Torino is one of my favorite movies that he's ever done, but that's not a Western. Yes, I don't really have a whole lot to add here. I've had to watch one Western for an undergrad class, and I don't even know the name of it. It's the one where, actually, I think it's a Clint Eastwood movie where he goes, there's a scene at the end where it's like a showdown and he's protecting the whores in the saloon or something like that. Because they were talking about tropes that are used throughout different types, throughout the ages through different forms of literature and different movies. even though it's
Yeah.
a different genre. They're the same tropes.
Yeah,
but
I just recently watched that one, and I can't remember.
is it Unforgiven?
Unforgiven, I think.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, yeah, that's Unforgiven.
that is
like we had to
Unforgiven.
watch Unforgiven. We watched
That works.
Rambo
Yeah.
First Blood.
Yep.
We watched Scream.
It is Unforgiven.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. It was okay. Just westerns aren't really my thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take a sideways, Paul, because Western Neo, Cowboys versus Aliens comes to mind.
Nice.
I love that film.
That's a good one.
And yeah, so that's my. I never thought I'd get to talk about that movie here on the show, even for just a few seconds. So.
You know, this one I'm torn on. I would throw 310 to Yuma and True Grit
my goodness, yes.
up in the air and see which landed first. Today I'll go with True Grit, I think. I love that movie. Mainly because I'm mentioning it today because the actress who's in that Seinfeld is now in the Hawkeye show on Disney Plus. So we're gonna go with True Grit from the Coen Brothers, which is just unbelievably awesome.
Awesome.
Ooh,
All
I
right.
just thought of one. Can we consider? Can we consider? Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? A Western?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I love that movie.
Absolutely.
Love that movie.
That definitely that is classic neo Western. Classic neo Western.
This will come as
Indeed.
no surprise, but I haven't seen that.
The music is fantastic. That's why I love it.
Yes.
I love
Oh
music.
gosh.
There's been multiple times that we've set up a watch party. Me and Sergio set up a watch party, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna watch it this time, and then something happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never gonna watch this movie.
I hated it
It's
the
never
first couple of times I watched it, and then something clicked for me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is brilliance!" So
It's good stuff.
My wife would like to throw Django Unchained into the conversation.
Sure. That fits the topic. Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. Blair threw in No Country for Old Men, which I would say, yeah, definitely.
That's
Absolutely.
a really solid answer as well.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's go to our next topic and see what the wheel gives us. And we will now discuss Mission Impossible. We're talking the franchise here.
Nice.
This is the broad topic overall. And Susan, maybe we'll start with you. I'm kidding. This is one of those franchises you haven't seen, right?
I have.
Oh, okay. Well, then we will start with you.
It's one of those things for me where I'm like, I didn't particularly like it the first time around. I don't know why I watched the subsequent movies, but it was mindless. Like, I don't have to think about this. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't particularly like it.
For me, I don't understand
this entire time.
For me, I don't understand the lack of love that the second installment gets. I mean, Mission Impossible 2 gets so much hate. Jen, I saw your reaction. Talk to me.
Oh, so good.
For me, it's my favorite of all of them, but it is not widely loved. So, what about you, Jen? What do you think about this? Any of the ones of this franchise that stand out for you?
So the second, so I'll be really honest. I think I've seen the first 3.
Okay.
That's it. The second one is my favorite. It's a guilty pleasure. I will watch it if anytime it's on TV. Like Susan, I love them because they're mindless. But I will say there's caveat. I also feel like they're like a poor man's 007.
Yeah.
So not as good. Way up on the cheesy factor. So I haven't watched anything past like the third one. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I don't know. I don't think Tom Cruise is that great, so I don't love him. But yeah, of the ones that I have seen, the second one is my favorite. I love it, but I also really like the guy that plays the bad guy, Dougray Scott.
Yeah.
I think he's brilliant, and I think Thandaway Newton, like this is when she was like early in her career. She's so good in it too. I think that's who plays the girl.
She is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know that movie like the back of my hand.
Yeah, like I think they're brilliant, and they're what makes it for me.
Gotcha.
So
Indeed. All right, Paul. What about you? Because I feel like
Yeah.
you've been waiting.
The franchise doesn't even start until 3 for me. Like the first two,
The first one's clunky.
the first one is super clunky. At least I know what they were going for. The second one is just like, let's redo the first one, but worse. And it's like, okay, let's do that. And so they
Would you
redid
say it's the
first one.
13th warrior of the franchise?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And then they did the third one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and that was amazing.
Brilliant.
And it was like, oh my God, wait, okay,
Yeah.
so I'm in now. Like, I literally didn't even want to see the third one. Like, after that second one, I'm like, ugh, gross, no, pass. And then the second one was like, or the third one was like, yes, this is fantastic. And then I was right there in the theater to see Ghost Protocol, and that's my favorite. I love
That's a good
Ghost
one.
Protocol. And Jen, I have to tell you, the Ghost Protocol, the one after that, the Rogue Nation and Fallout is a trilogy, and it is just amazing. As a trilogy, it's a fantastic trilogy.
Okay, I will. I'll give it. I will take that under advisement, and maybe I'll give it a go over Christmas.
Yeah, it's really
Let us know.
solid.
Let us know if you did.
Good stuff.
Because we could do a whole show on that whole franchise, but here we are.
As soon as the next one comes out, we will. So
yeah, that's true. Because I think they're trying to catch up with the Fast and Furious franchise. So
yeah, there's no point in blowing that topic before we get the next film.
Please tell me Fast and Furious is on here, Sergio.
It's
in the hopper. We'll see if it comes up. It's in the hopper.
God, I hope it doesn't.
The last thought I want to give on the Mission Impossible films is just the simple fact that every film they try to, it's like they sit down and they go, okay, we need to figure out where we're going to have Tom Cruise run, and so that's pretty much part of every single film, or fly, or run while flying. So, all right, here we go. Back to the wheel we go. Let's see what we're going to talk about next. 100 episodes. Wheel of Fate is now going to give us animated films. Of course it would.
Nice.
Of course it would.
Nice.
Yes.
I'm not starting.
I'm starting. I'm going first.
Paul's like, I'm there.
Look, I'm an OG old Disney guy, and I could pick any one of about a bazillion movies from there, but I'm just going with my favorite animated movie, and that's WALL-E. WALL-E is just a perfect, beautiful movie, and Blair, go away with heavy metal. WALL-E is for me, it is the pinnacle of the art of the animated feature film. It takes everything that animated movies can be and extends it beyond anything you thought it could be. Like, I just always think of the dance sequence outside of the spaceship. It's so beautiful. It's so touching. Yeah.
I say this in all earnestness, that this is such a classic moment for me as I listen to Paul, because I love the profanity with which Paul speaks when it comes to movies, because I'm sitting here going, I love cartoons. Like, that's pretty much my contribution to animated. So thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
Who's next?
I mean, I don't mind going, but you have your one animated film that you like so much.
Ratatouille.
There you go. Go for it.
There you go.
Sergio.
It's your turn now. Go for it.
Go, Sergio.
That's my contribution. Yes.
That's all you're gonna say is Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, no. Ratatouille for me is one of those movies that like encompasses all the things I love. It's a movie. Yeah. It's about food, and I like little rats apparently. So, but no, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and I can watch it over and over. I also will always say this when it comes up. I'm a huge fan of Chef Thomas Keller, French Laundry, and he designed the final plate in that film, the Ratatouille. Yeah, and it's
cool.
Yeah, they filmed him putting it together, and that was the sort of the foundation for the final animation. So, all right, our friend Jen, what do you have for us for animated films?
Well, like I said, I just saw Ratatouille recently for the first time. We're going to Disney next year, and so I'm trying to watch all these new ones.
Okay.
So good. Loved it. Thought it was cute. I also love food, especially French food. So I loved it.
Nice.
Like Paul, I'm old school Disney all the way. I'm a child of the 80s, was born in 85. So I grew up watching, Little Mermaid, Snow White, Cinderella, all of these things. And my favorite one, hands down, is Sleeping Beauty. Hands down, all of the Disney movies from that era, they're drawn by hand. Like the artistry and the illustration and the painting, I don't know. I know it's a different talent set and it's a different art form than it is now, using the computers and iPads and all of that stuff to be able to illustrate this. I just think, there's something just so magical about literally illustrating thousands of pages to make this movie. It's beautiful. And all of these old school Disney like films that were illustrated by hand, favorite, hands down, love them.
Yeah. And Sleeping Beauty is the most artistically stunning Disney animated movie. So I will support that choice wholeheartedly.
All right. Susan,
shout out to Mary Blair there, by the way. Mary Blair did the art direction on that. So,
and fun fact, if you go to Walt Disney World, some of her art and stuff is like around the parks and stuff.
The contemporary resort has a giant not mural, what's it when they use tiles?
Mosaic.
Mosaic has a giant Mary Blair mosaic. So sorry, go ahead, Susan.
I was gonna say it's kind of similar thing to Jenna. Like I'm an 85 baby also, so it's like I have all the things, and I think that my favorite from when I was a kid was Cinderella. And if it was just because it was like the one that I watched over and over again, and like there were two movies that were on repeat until the VHSs wore out, and the other one was Winnie the Pooh movie, and I don't remember what it was called. I can sing every song from it, and
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Probably, and no, I won't sing them, so don't ask. You tried to get me to sing before. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff.
We got Paul. That's cool. All right. Animated films was our last topic of conversation. Let's see where the wheel is going to take us now, as our next topic is going to be Best Picture. So these would be films that won Best Picture. Yeah. What comes to mind? Can I just say for mine, I love it when a picture wins Best Picture unexpectedly. Okay. And I'm going to go all the way back to Crash, the year that it was not on the mouths of many folks, because Brokeback Mountain had done such a wonderful job throughout the entire award season, and just the surprise of a film that I enjoyed. I remember enjoying the whole slate of films that year, but just having this, that sort of anthology type approach that movie takes, kind of like Traffic and others, and just really being pleased that it won that year. So that's what comes to me immediately when I see this topic. So who'd like to go next?
No. All right. I'll go just to kill some time, I guess. For me, look, I'm going the best movie, the greatest movie ever made. I'm just going Casablanca. I mean, there's always a debate of, did this movie it's like Casablanca is just, you look back on it, it's like, this had to have won Best Picture, and of course it did. And it is the quintessential like example of a movie that was properly appreciated at the time and has held up amazingly throughout time, and is just, yes, it won Best Picture, and yes, it 100% deserved it. And so
sure.
Yep. And Blair says I win on this one so far, and he mentioned Godfather 2. I just want to give a shout. Blair and I actually went and saw Casablanca in theaters on its 50th anniversary in 1992. So there you go. I think it was 92. Might have been 93. But whenever it was its 50th anniversary, he and I were right there in the theaters watching it.
Love it.
Susan or Jen want to chime in?
So I have to say that I mean we've already discovered, and we've already known for a long time how my movie watching experience goes. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love the Lord of the Rings franchise, and so when Return of the King won in 2003, it was like I was happy,
Perfect culmination.
and I think
Absolutely.
it deserved it. And I think because I have seen every single one of the movies in that franchise, I'm like, I've read
Do
all
you
the
do
books.
the extended
good one.
editions?
Yes, I do. There's no
You
other.
must.
There is no
Excellent.
other way.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Just curious. Just asking.
Don't make me smack you.
All right, Jen, what about you?
Okay, so mine's a toss up between two. I'm gonna go. Mine's a toss up between West Side Story and Titanic. Titanic because, like, again, my age, like that came out. I to this day cry. But the one I'm actually gonna go with today is West Side Story. It won in. I had to Google it to make sure. It won in 1961, I believe.
That sounds about right.
They're getting ready to release the new version that has been updated, and I am so excited. I love musicals. And it's not very often that musicals win, especially for Best Picture.
Sure.
Like I think maybe the only other one I can think of would be Chicago.
Back in
so
that time, though, they won a lot. They
Oh,
won
okay.
a lot back in the 60s.
Oh gosh, it's such a beautiful show. It's beautiful on stage. It's beautiful in film. Rita Moreno. Now I'm drawing a blank.
Moreno, you were close.
Yeah, Moreno. Rita Moreno is brilliant in it as Anita. She's so good. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. Very timeless, very classic. And I hope homeboy that plays Tony in this new update doesn't ruin it.
I think that's his name, homeboy that plays Tony.
Good luck
Yes.
with that. He's too old. Oh, whatever. Okay. No, I'll
It
save
makes
it.
me
I'll
nervous.
save it. I'll save it.
It makes me nervous because in all of the previews they've shown for the new one, they literally, like, you hear other people sing, you hear the new female lead singing, you hear Adriana DeBose, who's playing Anita this time, sing. You don't hear Ansel, what's his face, sing.
Right.
And that
Baby
makes me
Driver
nervous.
guy.
That tells me maybe he's not very good. And if Tony is not very good, it's going to ruin the whole show.
It's getting good reviews, so I think he'll be all right.
Fingers
Well,
crossed.
we shall see. Well, Jen, I got to tell you, thank you so much for making the time. It's great to have you on episode 1 and episode 100. I hope that in the very near future we can talk about you joining us for other conversations if you'd like. So,
Yes,
thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me. You all have a good night.
You too. Thanks so much.
night.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, we really appreciate that opportunity to get to walk down memory lane and visit with someone who was with the show right when it started. And with that in mind, there are 2 more guests that are going to be joining us now. And I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. First, joining us, we have our friend Kristen, who actually was on, I believe, Kristen, episode number 2 when we talked Shin Godzilla. And we also got together for an episode on Michael Mann's films as well.
And Parasite.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also joining us at this time is our good buddy Nick Kramer, who was part of an interesting and fun debate on the final Star Wars installment quite a few episodes ago. And so, Nick, thank you so much for making time for joining us on episode 100 of Real to Real Talk. Woo. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. And I hope that this is not the last time. This is fun talking to folks who've been friends of the show for quite a while. So I did explain off air that we are going to spin the wheel. Topics are going to come up. And just any film that comes to mind, let's put it out there, talk about it, share your thoughts. And we're going to go ahead and continue because we talked about Best Picture last. Here comes the next topic on this 100th episode of Real to Real Talk. Let's see what the Wheel of Fate gives us. Historical dramas. Ooh, I love
Put
this
that one in there for you. That was just for you, Sergio.
Yes. So I will not begin. What about let's leave it to Kristen or Nick to decide who'd like to give us our first entry on this topic.
Cool.
Whenever I saw it pop up, immediately jumped to mind, and I have 2 of them. One's a troll because of how just historically inaccurate it is, and a drama, and the other one is accurate And I just like, whether it's, I assume it's accurate, but I just think it's really, really good, especially the last half hour of it. The troll one is Mel Gibson's The Patriot, because everyone knows muskets have the accuracy of a sniper rifle in the modern day. That's why they all lined up the way they did, in old combat, isn't that? And then the serious for realsy one that I like is Glory with I think it's Matthew Broderick and Denzel Washington, right?
Yep.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I haven't seen Glory in a really long time, but I really, really like that movie, especially the last half hour of it. Whenever they're making their initial charge at the encampment on the beach.
Yeah, Denzel Washington picking up the Oscar, his first Oscar.
Yep.
How about you, Kristen?
Mine is The Favorite with Olivia Colman
Yes.
and Rachel Weisz, which was my favorite movie of 2018. And that movie is crazy.
It is. It's a wonderful film. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love Yorgos Lanthimos. So just the way he takes his really goofy style of compositions and filmmaking, I just love it.
And how subversive the score is with the movie. It's just oh my God, this is just insane. I love that movie. Oh my God.
And I loved how and reading up on how he was directing it, he would intentionally go through and mess with people's wigs. He's just all the other costume dramas, people are really prim and proper. They look perfect. And there he was just it's the 1800s. Everyone's going to look like garbage.
All right. Very good. I love that. Thank you, Kristen. All right. Who's next?
I'll go.
All right.
I don't want to pick yours, Sergio, and I don't know what you're going to pick. So I have one that I want to say because I love it so much. But now
if you happen to, I have plenty.
Okay. Okay, good. So you'll change. No, you know what? I'm gonna go with something a little more recent as a historical drama. I'm gonna go with All the President's Men. That I saw that movie probably when I was 8 or 9, and we were planning a trip to Washington D.C. and my dad was like, "Here, watch this movie." And at 8 or 9, I was absolutely captivated. I was like, this really happened. And I went on a thing where I went up and looked up Nixon and stuff like that. And I was like, wait, I was born in 1974 and this all happened in 1974. And it's so good. Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman, Jason Robards won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for it. If you have not seen All the President's Men, especially in today's political climate, go see it.
Yeah.
Learn, enjoy. It's fantastic.
Paul, that's actually my favorite movie of all time.
Yay! Yay! Awesome.
Excellent. It's worth it.
I endorse you.
Excellent.
I love this. It took 100 episodes, Paul, but now you've been endorsed. So there you go.
Can I put that on my name now?
Yes.
Say hashtag Kristen.
Hey, it's quite an endorsement. So absolutely. Susan, what about you?
So I'm completely drawing a blank at the moment. So the only one that I can think of that keeps coming to mind is Apollo 13. Despite that it, there were a lot of issues with the movie. And especially people fought over it for a while, but I think I liked that movie. I actually really did enjoy it. It was
in spite of the heavy talkiness.
This was before I became who I am now because I was younger then.
Okay.
So I was had the attention span, but now I'm well,
too many words.
Too many words. If somebody walks by on the street and I'm watching a movie, I'm like, what are you doing out there? I'm like the dog. I'm barking at them. I'm like, what are you doing? Anyway, no, I don't actually do that. But I get easily distracted. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh no, I understand. Great film, by the way. I love Apollo 13. For myself, as soon as I saw the topic come up, I was so pleased that it was on the list because, I mean, you got to go with 13th Warrior. Just kidding. I had to sneak it in somewhere. I love the faces I'm getting.
Hey, that scene where he all of a sudden starts understanding their language, that's kind of like the way it happens in real life, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the scene that we have the most problem with, Nick. Just so you know, every time we rid him
and
for
the dark scene in the beginning.
Dark fights where it's like we're fighting, but you can't see us.
Paul has a problem with the dark. Paul has a problem with the dark. I have a problem with the. I learned a whole language by sitting around a campfire for an evening.
Yeah,
that bothers the crap out of me.
But here's what I love. We had a conversation about it on the 100th episode of this show, and that's all that matters. So, but my easy pick would have been Lincoln. Because that's an absolute favorite of mine. Yep. But I'm going to have to go with a movie that in part trolls Paul, but is also one that I love, and that's the movie 13 Days. The troll part is Kevin Costner. But
why did you say that? That belongs to me.
Oh, man. No, I can't tell you. Yeah, I love that film. It's just one of those movies that I can watch over and over. And I love history. I love that sort of era. And all the sort of ins and outs of the politics of the time. And yeah, 13 Days is up there.
The casting of that movie is great.
Yeah.
If you were going to go with Costner, you could have at least done Hidden Figures or something. Come on.
Or Waterworld. So.
Why aren't you doing Oliver Stone's Nixon?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably go on this topic forever and ever.
3.5 hours of Anthony Hopkins struggling with an accent.
Yeah.
Worth it. All right. Well,
that's
okay.
every Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what the wheel has for us next as we continue our conversation here tonight. The Wheel of Fate says experience in a theater. Now, Paul, you're going to have to explain this one for me.
Easy.
So this is our wild card topic, and it's just an experience you had in a theater that it's just like super memorable. Yes, I remember going to see this movie. I'll start it off just to give you the idea of what I'm going for here. So for me, I'm going recent. I'm not like going super. I'm going most recent, most memorable, and I'm going with Avengers Endgame. It was
bingo.
You took
bingo.
It was just like the whole theater just wanted to be nowhere else on the like you could have literally given every single one of them like tickets to Tahiti for that night, and they would like, fuck no, I'm here to watch Avengers Endgame. And when Steve Rogers is getting this shit kicked out of him, and he, on your left, just the whole place exploded. It was, I've got goosebumps just talking about it because of how electric the theater was at that moment. And that, my friends, is the sort of thing I am talking about when I say experience in a theater, a movie that you had a memorable experience in a theater.
Well, if I may, guys, I want to piggyback because Paul's choice is my choice also. And I'll simply say this and leave the rest of the time to y'all. That movie, I get a bad rap on this show quite often from these two wonderful folks because I don't cry at movies. Like, he didn't cry at Coco is the, sort of the badge I carry. This movie made me cry. And yeah, so for the very reason Paul's talking about. So that's for me, that's one of the only visceral experiences in a theater that I feel like I've had. And so, yeah, so that's mine. I'm going to go ahead and open it to you guys to share your thoughts on your answer.
So I actually have two, which is not common for me
at all.
So one of the first, I had a really great experience with, I think it was the second, honestly, this is where my mind gets fuzzy because it's a while back ago. I think it was the second Jurassic Park movie because I was young enough. We were on a school field trip, and there is a point at which they're like digging under something, and then like the dinosaur head pops out, and all of us 10, 12, 13-year-olds all were like, ah, at the same time. And it was awesome because I was the only one that didn't jump scare or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'm the best. And then of course the next scene happens and I got freaked out about it. So that was one of them. The second one was we actually had one of the immersive experiences, like the fun Alamo Draft House, like full experiences with The Fifth Element, which is my favorite movie in the world.
Okay.
We went and they had like drinks and they had glow sticks in the drinks and they had people like dressed up in costume and they had a costume contest and just like the entire experience of being around people who were fanatics about the movie like I was awesome. Because we were all sitting, like the entire row of us were taking turns quoting the movie. So like one would say one line and then next time, like it was awesome. And so I think that was my favorite experience, two experiences in theaters. So
Awesome.
Nice.
there we go.
I think I went to the Draft House experience here in San Antonio for Fifth Element too, because I've got one of the tumbler glasses that they do, but it's got the symbols of the four stones on it.
I've got two. I was like, I have to have that glass. I'm absolutely, and we have like now we have ice cube thing. We have ice cubes that are Fifth Element ice cube stones.
That's cool.
That's funny.
I was like, so excited.
So Nick, you were talking. What's yours?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Well, two memories, one bad and one really, really good. The bad one that I'll always remember was going to go see Stallone's Judge Dredd in the theater. But the reason why, not because of the movie in all its glory, hearing Armand Asante just do it, because really, I'm the law, and then he screams it. I love that. But not the movie itself, but the volume. Whenever I went to go see that movie, whoever was managing the literal volume of the movie spun that thing all the way to maximum, because I literally am sitting there. This is the Saturday after, the day after the movie came out, with my hands over my ears, literally the entire runtime, because it was that damn loud. Loud. Oh yeah. It was ridiculous, or whatever it is. So that was that. But as far as like bestest ever movie experience was, I'll divide it by two. The ending of Infinity War, seeing that in the movie theaters, and the entirety basically of Endgame.
Yeah.
The ending of Infinity War, because once the snap happened and everybody started dusting, the entire theater gasping, and you could hear people crying, especially whenever Spider-Man started to like, I don't feel so good or whatever, and everyone knew it's like, oh shoot, he's going, and then you hear people crying in the theater, and then Thanos is sitting there with that smile of his good work being done, and it cuts to black, and everyone's just like, the oxygen is out of the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just the ending of that movie, and pretty much the entirety of Endgame is probably the best theater experience as far as collective experience among all the viewers that I've ever had, period.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Kristen, what about you?
So I have not seen in the past 2 years a lot of movies in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
The one that came to mind is I recently watched the first movie I've ever walked out in the middle of the movie.
Ooh.
Like in theater.
Ooh.
And
Which
it's
one?
not what you're thinking it is. I walked out of Belfast because I was so bored the entire movie.
Oh.
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, but I've never done it. Like I've usually, the older I've gotten, the more I've been okay not finishing things. Like if it's 30 minutes, an hour, and I'm just not vibing with it, like I don't need to give this movie any more time. But being in a theater, there's such a big commitment to it, because I was just like, I paid money for this. I'm sitting in the theater for this. And I was just, and so like I kept saying, and I was just like, I don't want to disrespect Kenneth Branagh, but I'm just like, I just don't like this. And then I just got up and left, and I just freaked out the entire walk home because I was just like, did I do the right thing? I don't know. I was not enjoying that movie.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I get it. I kind of feel like that every time I watch a Terrence Malick film. So
I like
It's
Terrence
work.
Malick, but
yeah,
please understand.
there
I
are
also,
those moments.
I also do have an Endgame story.
Okay.
Ooh.
As someone who, I'm really sorry, I hate Endgame.
Oh,
Canceled. I'm just
That's
joking.
okay. Everybody has.
I haven't seen it.
But the reason why is because I only watched Infinity War, which admittedly I liked. I liked Infinity War. And then at the very beginning of Endgame, I remember having this feeling of just like seeing Captain America in therapy. And I was just like, yes, I want sad superheroes. Like, I just want Captain America going to therapy for 3 hours. And then they brought everyone back, and I was mad.
okay. You,
So,
you
like,
understand that 3 hours of heroes in therapy isn't really a movie, right? Like, that,
No, but that would be amazing. Give me 3 hours of Thanos farming. I'd be so interested.
I love it. I love
But
it.
it was like that dissonance of like everyone else was just really into the movie. And I just felt so bad because I was just like, I just want to see more survivor's guilt. I thought that was such an interesting theme that just wasn't touched on.
Gotcha.
well, if you want that as a theme that's not touched on, you definitely want to watch WandaVision on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Ah, good
Basically,
point.
the entire
Please
theme
say
of-
that
Good
you
point.
will watch that. If you dig that kind of thing, oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh
WandaVision-
yeah. I tried to get this one way up here, 4 spots above me to consider watching that, and he needs to because it is fantastic.
I will withhold my opinion, but
yeah, you would.
check it out, Kristen. Check it out.
If it honestly though, it's the entire theme is basically survivor's guilt, and
Yeah.
it's compelling.
All right. Well, let's spin the wheel once again.
Oh,
and let's
while
see
it's
what's
spinning,
up
I just want to
next.
mention Blair said for his it was Lawrence of Arabia because he saw that in LA with me, and I'm touched by
okay. Nice.
that.
All right. 1960s. Is this film about the or from the?
From the
From the 1960s.
yep, a
Wow.
movie from the 1960s. Do you
Pulls
want me to
out
go
phone.
first? Because I'm
West Side
ready.
Story.
West Side Story. Okay,
I've seen that, and I know it's from the 60s because we just talked about it.
there you
The
go,
end.
Susan.
I went.
You went. Okay, so Susan's is West Side Story. Kristen, you just talked about. Oh no, no. I'm
That was
sorry. It was
Jen.
Jen that was talking about West Side Story. I'm ready. If nobody else, if y'all just want me to go, I can go. I'm going with another musical from the 60s. This is like a family favorite, so I'm going with Sound of Music. It was, we were gifted in Christmas of, I want to say 80. Yes, Christmas of 1980. We were gifted with a VCR from my grandparents, and we were given one tape, and it was a double tape of Sound of Music because Sound of Music was too long to fit on a single VHS tape. And so, I've seen Sound of Music as much as any movie that exists on the planet. I love it so much. It makes me happy. So I am going for the 60s with Sound of Music.
All right. Who would like to share?
I'm doing a swipe through of all the movies that came out in the 1960s because just so I can say, oh yeah, I've seen that one.
I'm trying to find something less obscure.
Just pick something obscure. I'd love to hear one of your obscure runs. That's awesome.
Okay, I got it.
Go.
So last year, have y'all ever seen They Shoot Horses, Don't They?
Oh,
I have not.
wait. I feel like I have. Hold on. I'm going to look that one up.
Yeah. So the movie is about a dance competition. So it's set in the Great Depression. So there are a bunch of couples and they have to continuously dance until there's only one couple standing. So like they're going for hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Wow.
And it was like, it's by far, I think, one of the darkest movies I have ever seen. Like, it's bad when the Soviet Union would use it as an example of the wrongs of capitalism, because it's just that brutal. And I remember just like watching it, and it was like the first time watching a movie where it was so cruel. I just started crying, not because necessarily like something emotional or sad was happening, just because I was just like, how could they do these to this people?
Oh man. Wow.
I have not seen it's like on my list. It's very high on my list of ones that I want to see though.
Dark, but it's also
Okay.
filmed so modernly
Yeah.
that like to me it's amazing as a 60s movie.
Okay. I'll move it
Gotcha.
even further up my list.
We have a segment that we call what the hell did I just watch? And that sounds perfect for Paul. All right,
I
Nick,
can't wait for our next episode when I do the one that I have ready to go. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I just looked through, so I'll say, and I just saw it. So 1968, Planet of the Apes, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
There you go.
that was really. I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I do remember the first time that I ever saw it, and it kind of like broke my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
But of course, I was a kid when I saw it on television and stuff like that. But of course, later on, I saw the actual theatrical version and stuff. That
The
movie
one with Mark Wahlberg, right? Joke.
Done by everybody's favorite director, Tim Burton. Stop. Retire
Mark
him,
and the Funky
please.
Bunch. Come on.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I know, right? He comes out and does the underwear ad right afterwards. But no, the first Planet of the Apes movie, it was just really, really good. I mean, there's a reason it's as looked at as the commentary on nuclear proliferation / I don't know, consumerism or whatever that it is. It's a really cool movie. I really liked it. The ending, of course, is like iconic and parodied to hell and back, it's really good. That's it.
Yeah.
For myself, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Steve McQueen in the 100th episode of the show, because The Great Escape is one of my absolute favorites, 1963. The fact that I had to actually scroll to look and see what popped to mind I'm ashamed, because that is one of my absolute favorite films. So yeah, that would be my entry into this topic.
God, I love that movie.
That's awesome.
Zakula.
Who's missing? Susan, did we get yours?
Yeah.
Oh,
She-
okay.
I was the
went
first
with-
one.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
that's
went
right.
West
West
Side
Side Story, because we just
Oh,
talked
that's
about
okay. I thought you had I thought you were
We
kidding.
just talked about it, and she has seen it.
Gotcha.
I have actually. I forced my child to watch it on a day that he decided to stay home sick from school. So I was like, "You're gonna watch this."
Oh wow.
And there you
He
go.
was like, "I never stay home from school again." I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, let's do one more with our friends Kristen and Nick. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see what the wheel gives us next. Uh-oh, did it stop? Is it
Mm,
working?
It's going slow.
It's going very
Or
slow.
it's going so fast that it looks like it's going slow.
Right. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, there we go. And
Spinny
we
Spinny
get
Spinny.
Sandra Bullock films.
Look.
Eek.
Oh man.
Eek. Okay, look, listen. I don't watch a lot of her movies, but A Time to Kill, because Matthew McConaughey has to come up in this episode. But Sandra Bullock's role in that I enjoyed. So that's one of the few Sandra Bullock things that I can think of that I was like, okay, that works. So sorry, just not a big fan. So
Yeah. So she lives in Austin. Hi. Anyway.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah. So the only movie that I can really think of is While You Were Sleeping, and I thought that was an awful movie.
What?
It was okay, I guess. Okay,
Oh
I
my
was like that. She was. I didn't like her character. She's so terrible. Like,
Are you kidding
Anyway.
me?
no,
Oh, it's a Christmas classic.
it is not.
Christmas classic for the whole
Okay.
family.
Come
My
on.
mind. No, hush. I don't like it.
Kristen,
I like it. I
or
mean,
Nick?
it's one of those things because I've actually seen it a number of times. Did not like it. Can probably quote it, but I don't like it.
all right, Kristen, what do you think?
I mean, the first one I ever saw her in was Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
Right.
The lake house is insane. and that's why I love it.
I was going to say the Lake House too. The Lake House is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, like
It was so weird, but I liked it.
yeah, like I've learned it from How Did This Get Made? That's how I learned about the like Lake House, because I just like never really had any like want to watch it. But then like them describing how bonkers like the premise was made me want to go see it. But if it's like best performance, Miss Congeniality, like by far, like best use of her charisma.
Kristen, thank you so much for bringing up the podcast. How did this get made? That's right on my heart. So
It's one
awesome.
of my favorites.
Yeah.
So Nick, is Lake House yours then?
It's Lake House. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Lake House, because I hadn't seen that. I didn't see that until I saw it pass by on a digital sale. Because I remember seeing like the commercials for it like way back in the day whenever it first came out, but I never actually saw the movie because I was like small when it came out. But when it passed by on a sale on the Google Play Store, like every once in a while they'll put a bunch of movies up for sale and stuff, and it was like Keanu Reeves and what have you, and so it was a bunch of his movies, and it was Lake House, and I was like, I remember this movie, but like I remember the poster for it, I didn't remember at all what it was about, so I like queued up the trailer, and I was like, when the trailer and the music for it starts to make you like cry almost, you're like, oh, I need to buy. And I wasn't disappointed. It's really good. I really like that movie a whole lot. So whenever you said Sandra Bullock, I was like, oh, Lake House, but then I was also like, but what about Demolition Man? No.
Oh my.
Sergio, I'm surprised you disparaged Sandra Bullock like that. She was in Crash, the movie you mentioned for Best Picture.
Yeah, but so we're a bunch of
Crash is no. Kristen, you don't like the Crash either, or Crash either?
Crash.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's trash.
All right, I'm sorry. That's not the one I'm going with. I'm going with one that Sergio is going to be mad that he didn't mention, and it's Gravity. Because Gravity is 90 minutes of film perfection. And
you should have won for it too.
Yeah, it is good.
Yes,
take away from Blindside, give it to Gravity.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a miss on my part.
Gravity is like, don't give me 2.5 hours of anything. Don't give me 2 hours of black and white Northern Ireland movie about a kid, but taking place during the Troubles. But God forbid we actually see anything compelling. No, give me 90 minutes of Gravity, and it is taut. It not a single frame of film is wasted. It's just perfection. It's great. I love Gravity.
It doesn't matter how many times Neil deGrasse Tyson says that parts don't make sense. It don't matter. It's a good movie.
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I'm not going to him for movie advice. That's all I know.
It's a great film. Yeah, I'm ashamed I missed it, or that I didn't bring it up. So thank you, Paul.
I'm happy you didn't.
And Sergio, since you're right before I know you're about to transition us out or whatever it is, but since I heard you saying it as you were bringing us in and bringing Kristen in, since apparently you had talked to Sergio before about the glories of Shin Godzilla, right here behind me is my Godzilla versus Space Godzilla OG Japanese poster that I had framed by my friend. Oh, hey, girl. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it when people come together.
I even had my friend. I'll zoom it in just real quick. I had my friend do this at her party, but look at what the mat that she did. She even painted the star field to match the. Oh God! Oh, Alexa, turn off dining room. Hang on, you'll see it in a second here. There it is. Kind of sorry, you can see it a little bit better, but the star field in the background matches like the star field in the the mat for the painting and stuff like that. So. Thought you might appreciate that, but you do because you have a cool poster in the back too.
Excellent. Well, with that, first of all, Kristen, I love how many memories we have from this show. I hope that there'll be more, and I'm glad that we spoke earlier about some ideas you have. So, thank you for joining me on the 100th episode, joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk movies with you. So, Kristen, thank you so much. Nick, you've visited just about all the shows that I've done. So thank you so much for always being such a great friend and such a great support. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Same.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And as we start to move into our next segment, it's nice to get to hear from folks that have visited the show in the past, and kind of reminds me of where it all began. And as time has gone on, it ended up being the three of us that sort of went long term. And I think with that in mind, we should do a couple more of these topics and, just have it be the gang. So let's spin the wheel a couple more times and let's see what it gives us as we continue. Oh, I knew this one was going to come up and I have no clue.
You don't have anything on this one?
I don't know. Let me see.
Nope.
I put this one on for one reason and one reason
You,
only.
for yourself.
Specifically and solely because I knew we weren't going to be talking about recent releases today, and I wanted to talk about The Power of the Dog because
I want to see that.
Mine for her would be The Power of the Dog. She made The Piano, an Academy Award winning movie. Fantastic, good, great. Power of the Dog is I'm just flat out telling you, Power of the Dog is for real. Like, just amazing. It is a great movie. I have some nicks that I can pick about it. So like if we were doing the ratings, it would not get the 5 tacos. It would be the 4 tacos plus guac. But I'm telling you, it's out on Netflix right now. Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst and the kid whose names escape me at the moment, but this movie is for real. Just the third act of the first 2 acts are like, oh my god, really? Or is this what we're sitting around for? And then the third act is like, oh my god, this is unbelievable. It's just the opposite of so many other movies that just don't stick the landing. This movie just kicks the shit out of the landing. And so my pick for Jane Campion is Power of the Dog. I'm sorry I subverted this one because it is literally the only reason why I put it on there. I hoped it would come up so I could talk about Power of the Dog.
I was really glad that Power of the Dog came up because just last night I decided I saw it and I didn't see it, but I saw the
on Netflix
and I was like, I need to watch that. That trailer was amazing.
Sergio,
so that's gonna be my gateway into Jane Campion. So
there you go. And we could just spin again. Literally, I had an ulterior motive for that one. I own it. I'm sorry.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's gonna be all Paul. John Wayne.
There we go. We can all talk about that one.
Yeah, we can.
I've never seen any of his movies.
Lies.
Who's gonna start
us off, Susan? You know you got something to say about John Wayne.
So my family was one of we had the black velvet painting of John Wayne.
Nice.
Sorry.
You're laughing because you know exactly what I'm talking about. My dad used to have Westerns running when he would he didn't take naps on Sunday afternoons. He rested his eyes.
Right.
So they were always running, and I have many memories of walking through the living room and seeing John Wayne on the screen. So I don't have one particular one, just in general a memory of John Wayne.
Okay.
And
nice.
Seeing, and honestly, seeing them on my living room wall.
Were they always his Westerns, or would you get a little like some of his war movies too? Maybe Donovan's Reef or something?
Almost always Westerns.
Okay.
Almost always. Because that was what was playing on Sunday afternoons, on our local station. So
sure. Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's Westerns for John Wayne. But if there's a memory that I associate more so than the films, because like Rio Bravo, True Grit, fantastic stuff. But I just remember that when John Wayne passed, I remember that was one of the only times that I saw my dad get emotional. I didn't realize what a fan he was. Yeah. And but similar to Susan, we'd go visit my grandparents, and every so often there'd be a John Wayne movie going, and because my grandma, my granddad, would watch TV or at home for whatever reason, and I just remember the conversation that happened when John Wayne passed away, hearing my mom and dad talk about it and how my father was like affected. And I was like, oh, okay. So I've seen a few of his films. I can't say that I've seen his entire filmography. But yeah, John Wayne that's a memory for me connected to John Wayne. So Paul.
Yeah, I'm going Rio Bravo as the singular movie. We were not a big John Wayne Western movie family in when I was a kid. Like my dad really liked The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and so I would watch The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Or another one that we would watch a lot of the times, Western wise, is Magnificent Seven. Those aren't ones he was in. So we weren't a big John Wayne household. So actually, a lot of the movies that I've seen with John Wayne, I saw, as after I was much older as an adult. And the one that I just really liked the first time I saw it, my wife introduced it to me, was Rio Bravo. And it's just great. Dean Martin. I mean, come on. It's great.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Well, let's do one more and let's see what the wheel gives us as we start to move to close tonight's show. And we're going to spin again.
Oh, yeah. Spin it
So
again. We don't want to close it out with
How
that.
dare you?
Yes. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Oh, she's not.
We'll spin again, Susan.
I
Well-
just don't have anything to contribute.
Yeah,
to
No,
this.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
There's literally 100 things to pick from here, so we could
Yeah,
spin again into something good.
It's gonna be 1940s.
Right.
Viola Davis is okay.
Wonderful actor.
Why don't we just pick one, Sergio?
All right.
Why don't we just pick-
And for those watching, no disrespect to Viola Davis. We're
Right.
just trying to end on a note that we can all speak to
right.
together.
Do you guys want
And
a
you'll see why,
franchise
sure.
movie? Do you guys want a franchise movie?
Oh.
What kind of thing are you feeling?
That scares me because I don't want you to pick up the Fast and the Furious series.
I'm not going to pick Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
You know what?
Did you spin it again?
I did.
No, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to send Susan off here to give us one that we know she's gonna talk about. Franchises, James Bond. Since we had a whole episode that we talked about James Bond
Talk about
already,
it.
but let's just do
Oh.
it
Talk
again.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
gosh.
do it again. Let's do it again. But this is
Huh.
just like pick up. Just tell us the movie. Commit.
I'll start real quick because I'll reiterate what I said. Daniel Craig for me will every person has their favorite Bond. Sean Connery, no doubt. Roger Moore, no doubt. But for whatever reason, maybe it's the era that I grew up in or that I'm part of. Daniel Craig for me nailed it. I just really loved his portrayal, the grit. And the way in which the series was taken in a whole different direction. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm pleased to say I've enjoyed all of them, but I just have a special place in my heart and will for the Daniel Craig series of films and the way it ended. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going. We started. It's interesting because we started with DC Comics, and I picked The Dark Knight because it was the best straight up film of the DC Comics. And I'm doing the same thing with James Bond, and I'm going Skyfall because it really is the best film. Like it's just as a piece of art that is presented and complete and not dependent on a bazillion other things going on, and it just as a self-contained fascinating object. Skyfall for me, and the opening song, which is amazing. So
I'm going to go back to it again. We've talked about all of it. My first and still favorite Bond, because he's got a special place in my heart, is Pierce Brosnan.
okay,
I'm leaving him there. You don't have to take him. You don't have to take him. I'll take him. It's fine. But I have to say that my favorite movie, thanks to the new kind of set of everything, is I really loved No Time to Die. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
it
cool.
didn't feel like as long as it was. It didn't act like as long as it was. There was a lot of talking. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of stuff that normally I would be like, but I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Great.
Yeah.
So I think that that's probably my favorite Bond movie for right now, because that changes,
Sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, we come to the last few minutes of our time together here tonight on Real to Real Talk, the 100th episode. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who has joined in to listen at any point tonight. We thank you so much for watching the show, whether you watch with us live or you catch it on repeat on YouTube and on Facebook. We just appreciate that you come out week to week and you check out what we're talking about and what we're doing. Big thank you to our friends Jen, Kristen, and Nick, who all were part of the early days of the show, and I hope that they'll play some role in the future. Come back and say hello. I want to say thank you to Jason, who just said congratulations on 100 episodes. We really are proud of that. But as we begin to move towards the end, we do have some news to share. For the last it's such a hard thing to share, but we've had a great time having Susan be part of the team, and she's contributed so much. And Paul, I think you and I can claim a little bit of responsibility for the way in which her movie watching has grown.
Yes.
And it's been awesome to see her not just expand her scope when it comes to film watching, but also the work that you've done on the show as a podcaster, Susan. I'm extremely proud of you. And we will be losing Susan, at least for now, as she continues to pursue the very noble career of nursing. I love that you're making a decision that's going to support the thing that you're passionate about right now. And Paul, I think you'd agree that we've had a great time with Susan as our co-host.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've brought so much to every single episode, and it's always great to hear your opinion on things, especially when your opinion is, I haven't seen it. I love it. It's great. But honestly, it's always just such a great and fresh opinion, and from an angle that you know, when you're talking movies, you don't get to hear a lot, and it's fun and it's great. And I'm so glad that you've been a part of it.
Thank you, guys. I honestly can say, like, it's been an amazing experience for me, because I've had a lot of, like you guys both mentioned, I've had a lot of growth. I've had a lot of, learning. I've had a lot of kind of keeping up, and unfortunately it's been kind of a struggle to keep up with everything and keep all my juggling in the air, kind of thing. And so you haven't lost me permanently. I want to say that right now.
That's good news.
I will be back. I will definitely come on guest from time to time if you want me to have.
Absolutely.
Of course. Absolutely.
But I definitely have to step away for a little bit, and I really thank you guys. I mean, first, of course, Sergio for inviting me to be a part of it, and Paul for dealing with my opinions that you don't necessarily agree with.
You like tea. That's all. We're good. Everything after that is gravy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, because I see and saw, like, myself growing from the very beginning, and I owe what I am to you guys, in no small part, how much I've grown because of you guys' support, and because of you guys being there with me and being there for me, and being understanding when things don't work out for me, and especially here now, because it's tough, right? I mean, even as the beginning of the episode. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, is it strange that, like, being here again is making me feel like I'm making a huge mistake by stepping away? And I know I'm not gone, but it's hard. It's really hard. So, thanks.
It's good.
Well, we're getting some cool comments. Blair sharing sad face. Our
Thank
friend
you.
Jason says, "Good luck, Susan. You're awesome." And he also adds, "It's all right to cry, Sergio Barrera." So
You started it. You started this. This isn't fair.
yeah. Well, we've had a great time, and I think Paul and I we both agree that this is not goodbye. We want you to pursue your schooling the way that you are. We're proud of you for all of the things you do in life as you pursue that goal, and we know that you'll be back. But until then, just remember we've enjoyed it, and you've done an amazing job. So thank you, Susan.
Thank
And if
you.
you actually do get to see a movie on a weekend that it opens and you're available on a Tuesday night,
Come on
just
over.
stop in.
Yeah.
Just stop in. Like, there's no reason why you can't just stop in and be like, yeah, I saw this movie and I'm giving it, it's Fast 9 and I'm going to give it 4 tacos for some reason. It's fine.
You have the keys to the studio, as you know. So
I do.
she's gonna pop in at the most random times. She's like, anyway, guys. So yeah.
I'm gonna pop up and be like, I'm just gonna hide in the background and hit. It's gonna be like,
Oh, and I will know that all is right with the world. So all right. Well, Paul, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank you deeply for all that you have also brought to the show. 100 episodes. I think you were with me back around episode 10.
I
And sort of,
you'd have to go figure out when your Matrix episode came out.
it was early on, and it was very shortly after that we sat down and we talked and we said, listen, let's take this thing forward. And I thank you for believing in it from that far back and everything you've contributed to it. And the most important part is the magnificent beard you have since contributed. So
it's a playoff beard. No, I seriously though, it was entirely your thing. You came to me. I genuinely was after we did the Star Wars episode. In the back of my head, I was thinking, God, I hope he comes to me and asks me to do it regularly because I'm having so much fun with this. Yeah. And then you did, and I was like, yes, this is exactly what I was hoping for. And
huge success.
It really, I mean, it was literally like, hey, Paul, do you think you would be willing to come on and do this regular? And I was like, God, I'm so glad. I didn't actually say this at the time, but like I was really hoping you would ask me, and you did, and I was so happy. And then yeah, right.
Absolutely, I will do that for you
if I have to. And then
I think I can find the time.
Here's an interesting. And then you brought Susan in a few episodes into our collaboration for Susan Finally Saw, and literally Blair, who's on right now, literally Blair said to me, you should have her on for the whole episode. Like I think she would be a good to be, and that's how that came about. It was literally Blair saying, hey, I think you should have her on regularly. And then I said that to Sergio, and then Sergio's like, yeah, you're right. She is good. I think I think it would be fun. And it was.
It definitely was.
And then the pandemic hit. Like literally. It was and then we're like, oh shit, we have no movies to go see. What are we going to do?
Oh man, thank goodness for streaming.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, we can sit here and wax nostalgic, but I also say we're going to look forward to the next 100 because this train is going to keep on rolling. Susan, you're always welcome, and we look forward to a day when you can join us more regularly, but don't hesitate to pop in now and then. And to everyone watching, just again, thank you. We do this because we love it. We love that you watch, and we hope that that'll continue. Keep an eye on our social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and so forth for some updates about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks, as we will probably be taking a break next week to get ready for what's to come, because we got The Matrix coming up. We got Paul, all kinds
Licorice
of stuff.
Pizza. It's so Christmas week. Just so everybody knows what's coming up Christmas week. Within the span of about 5 days is The Kingsman, which is the prequel to The Kingsman. The Matrix Resurrected, Licorice Pizza, and then Don't Look Up coming on Netflix. And also, oh, by the way, The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is the next Coen movie.
That's just
not
one
the Coen
week.
brothers. This is just one of the Coen
That's
brothers.
insane.
It's 5 movies in the span of 5 days, and I'm like, I'm glad I'm taking 5 days off because I'm going to have to do a movie a day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And we're getting very close to my annual movie marathon, 5 movies in one day. So we'll be talking about that briefly coming up. So lots to come, but we will be taking a break next week to get ready for what's to come. So stay with us.
I might hop on to do West Side Story. So,
okay, cool. Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
It'll be a little mini episode of me doing West Side Story if the listeners are interested.
Absolutely, that'll work. All right. Well, until then, we just say until next time. Susan, don't be a stranger. You're always welcome. This is your house, And we just thank you again so much. I don't know how to close other than to say it's been awesome. It's been amazing. And the same goes for all of you. You're awesome. You're amazing. And the world's a better place because you are